Coronavirus is spreading in prisons across the country, so some states started offering inmates COVID-19 vaccines, but it's proving to be a bit more complicated. Our partners at Kaiser Health News found it may come down to one word, and that's trust. Eric Berger joins me now. Eric, good morning. So you spoke to inmates in Missouri prisons who are hesitant about getting the vaccine. So what are their main concerns?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think there is a general lack of trust among Missouri adult inmates in the State Department of Corrections and in Horizon Health, which is the private company that manages healthcare in Missouri prisons. I think that's because of the way they have responded to inmates' health issues, particularly, of course, during the pandemic over the last year. The inmates I spoke with complained about guards ignoring mask mandates, which the corrections department confirmed was the case at one prison, at least one prison. The inmates complained that nursing staff and guards have not conducted wellness checks or responded quickly enough when inmates became sick with COVID. And then there is simply the fact that inmates have seen a lot of death over the last year. In my story, I focus on Western Missouri Correctional Center, which is about 40 minutes northwest of Kansas City. In 2019, 4 inmates died there. In 2020, there were 22 deaths, according to the state.
So over the last few months in particular, we've been talking about, eligibility for vaccines and access to vaccines. So when we're talking about inmates, it varies by state, their access to the vaccine. So even though the CDC has recommended vaccinating them, why exactly is this happening?
Well, I think there have been some conflicts between public health officials' recommendations and elected officials who are also having to navigate the politics of the vaccination process. There were 14 states that either did not specify when they will offer the vaccines to inmates or place the majority of inmates in its lowest vaccine priority group. Missouri placed the majority of inmates in its lowest vaccine priority groups. And in Colorado, for example, the government revised the state's vaccination plan that prioritized inmates over healthy older adults after facing criticism for that inmates' place in the line. But then when a particularly contagious COVID variant emerged at a prison, the governor then moved ahead to vaccinate some inmates ahead of schedule.
All right, Eric Berger with our partners at Kaiser Health News. Thank you.
Thanks so much.